Okay, so here's some really interesting information I want to share with you today on this YouTube video. This will be a little bit of a longer video because there's loads of information to share here. I will chop it down, I'll get it chopped down, put it onto Instagram, TikTok and LinkedIn, so there's a little bit more kind of snippety based stuff. But the information in this video, you really need to listen to this because this is something that people in the fitness space, people in the coaching space don't really talk about. It's only a very select few within the executive kind of coaching space, within the health space, that have this very specific type of knowledge and are able to share it with you. And lucky for you guys, I'm one of those people. We've dealt with hundreds and hundreds of CEOs, managing directors, business leaders over the years of running Truth as a company. We've worked with companies mainly within the kind of heart of the city of London, so within that square mile area. And we understand from kind of like a one-to-one basis, so as in like the individual person, and the impact that has on a business and kind of, you know, the culture and all the stuff that we see again and again and again. Now there is kind of data out there on this. There is some science behind it. One study that Dr. Corey Block, which a friend and a little bit of a legend based over in the UAE. There's a great study which kind of looks at a ton of different businesses and essentially looks at the difference between fit CEOs and unfit CEOs, and then looks at that as a profitability, the effect that has on the company. So today we're going to be looking at the specific subject of, you know, being an unhealthy CEO is losing your money. Like fact, 100%. It's irrefutable, okay? Now, if you're watching this and you're a 40 plus CEO, you don't want to hear this. You don't want to hear it, I get it. But I'm going to tell you anyway, because you never know. It might be the spark, the little thing that starts to kick your brain into gear and makes you start hitting those goals, looking after yourself, looking after your health, not just for you, but for your family, for your business, and all the other things that positively are impacted by you looking after yourself. Okay, so let's get straight into this. So essentially, we deal with 40 plus CEOs, generally London based, but you know, all around the world, but generally kind of London based, mainly city, because that's the heart of the kind of, you know, financial, insurance, tech district of the whole of London. And essentially, observation that we make is that, and this is not an observation just because we've kind of read a few books, this is an observation that we see day to day with clientele that have teams that run businesses of kind of 10 people to 200 people, some a little larger than that, but essentially give us a deep insight into kind of, you know, what happens when someone goes from this to this, yeah? And it gives us a kind of a bit of a, you know, a behind the screens view of things that most people don't see. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. I think the information that you're going to hear today is very valuable, especially if you run the business, especially if you're a CEO 40 plus, and you are in a position where you know that you're not in good health. You know that, you know, you're not where you need to be. You may be overweight, you're lethargic, you're not sleeping well, you're drinking too much. If that's you, if I'm talking to you, if this resonates with you, then you need to stick around because this information is going to be really, really valuable to you. Okay, right. So let's keep this really basic. I know there's going to be a whole range of people watching this, from people that are just starting out to people that are running companies for, you know, 30 years. But let's keep it really simple so we can make it information that can be digestible and really, really simple. So essentially, got your 40 plus CEO. Let's just go ahead and assume that most CEOs, probably 90% plus, are over 40, right? Let's be honest. You will get people within the fintech industry, within crypto and all this kind of stuff, which is, you know, like a new emerging kind of market industry. And potentially a lot of those CEOs are under 40, but in general, as the large percentage, most are going to be over 40, generally over 50, actually, that's what we mainly see. So 40 plus kind of brings the bracket in of most CEOs, right? And essentially you've got the CEO who's, of course, at the top of the company, right? We look at it as a pyramid, really simple. He's CEO, yeah? And you've got different levels of management, different levels of kind of, you know, workforce underneath that person, underneath that individual. So essentially we've got, you know, our CEO, we've got our executive team. So our execs, my writing's horrendous, but there you go. You can hear what I'm saying. The executive team is the next level underneath the CEO. And then you've kind of got your management, okay? So you kind of got your level 1, level 2, varies between company to company, but here's the very, very simple. And then you've kind of got your your main workforce, right? Which is your level 3 or 4, depending on how that company is run. So essentially, in our minds, as a health and fitness company, a transformation company, a company that works specifically with this individual, we see this person as the captain of the ship, the person that runs the show, the person that is under pressure to deliver to the board, if they're the owner of the business, to deliver to their staff. There's a lot of pressure on that individual person to make this company work. Now, a little bit, there's always this kind of, I had Fat Whitbread on my podcast last week, and there's always this comparison between like business and sport. And there's a lot of crossover. And part of that crossover, which I find is really helpful to mention when I'm kind of talking about this kind of area of information, specific type of thing, is to talk about, like an Olympic sprinter or a marathon runner, right? When, they're in competition and they're trying to be the best in the world, I'm not talking about people that are running a little shop and they're just okay doing a little bit of business and that's all cool. I'm talking about people that want to be the best at what they do. Generally, CEOs are that kind of driven individual. They're business leaders. They want to win, right? So let's go back to the sport. So if we're looking at Olympic sprinting, Olympic marathon running, a little bit less so, but essentially the person that wins compared to the person that comes second or third or fourth, we're talking about seconds. So in obviously sprinting, we're talking about milliseconds to a second potentially. When it comes to marathon running, which is a longer distance, again we're talking about minutes. There's very, very, very fine margins, okay, between businesses, between sports people that win and sports people that come second and third. Same applies in business, right? If you've got 5 competitors within your market and you want to be number 1, and I know there's not a CEO watching this that doesn't want to be number 1, because if you didn't want to be number 1, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing, right? You want to be the best. And those fine margins, right? You need to look for those fine margins all the time. And I guarantee you'll be sitting down with your board, you'll be sitting down with your team, your sales team, your marketing team every single week, and you'll be asking, how do we get better? How do we improve the revenue? How do we improve our bottom line? How do we get more leads? Yeah, it's how business works, okay? It's really, really important. So if you're a business owner or a CEO and you're watching this video and you are in this position where you're kind of always looking to be the best, to win the race, to be the best in the market, to get the most amount of clients, to be the biggest company, whatever that thing may be, to be the best brand, and you're not looking at the health and fitness of your team, you're exclusively looking at business activities like lead generation, social media, whatever it may be. If you're just looking at this side, which is the business side of things, and you're not considering, not even thinking about, you've not even thought about for 30 seconds, the health, the fitness, the well-being of your company and of you, you are losing. You're losing. You're losing, okay? The reason I say that is because, again, I know a lot of executive coaches, top-level executive coaches that work with top-level CEOs, and what they also do is they do a lot of recruitment. So they'll recruit into a company. 1 second. Sorry, the audio went. So yeah, they recruit into the company, they'll be brought into a company and they'll say, well, we need a new CFO, we need a new CEO, the board bring them in, a new CEO, new CFO. Okay, now I have this very good authority from people in the know, top-level executive coaches that know the ins and outs of that executive world, okay? If they have 10 applicants to a CEO role, yeah, and one's 45, one's 50, one's 52, one's 41, whatever, right? And across the 10, they're all pretty similar. They've all got really good skills. They've got amazing resumes. They've got incredible experience in what they do, yeah? But 4 of them are in terrible shape, okay? They're overweight, they're huffing and puffing up the stairs. They're sweating because they've just walked up the stairs and they're kind of in a bad state and they're wiping their face and they're just not in a good place, right? They look bad, they're drawn. Those 4, in the mind of the person that's doing that recruitment, as much as this is not a trendy thing to say, okay, they are not going to be as attractive as the 6 that are in decent shape, okay? So let's put the 4 to the side. Of the 6, if we've then got 6 people that are exactly the same, experience, skill set, resumes, whatever you want to look at it, right? But 2 of them, yeah, are super fit, they're strong, they're full of energy, they're drinking their protein shake and they're having their healthy meal, yeah? How are they going to differentiate between those 6 people? Well, the 2 that look incredible and give off this incredible energy and just vibrate at a high level, they're going to be the obvious choice, right? And suddenly it goes from a 10-horse race to a 2-horse race. And the reason it's done that is because they look after themselves. They're strong, they're fit, they're healthy. And strong, fit, healthy people, I hate to break it to you, generally have more energy. Yeah, like fact, it's not a made up thing. Generally have more vitality. You know, they've got more energy when they speak to people. They're more charismatic in general. You know, they've got more charisma that's there because they've got energy to draw from. They feel more confident in themselves, okay? Now, I know people watch this video going, well, I know a guy that's 52 and he's in terrible shape, as most charismatic guy that I've ever met. Of course, that's an exception to the rule. But the point still remains that person, if you compare it to another person of the same age who's fit and healthy, this is a more attractive person from a business perspective. Because, why then? Okay, right. Well, first off the bat, they're going to probably live for longer. Yeah, if there's 2 50-year-olds, one's in really terrible shape, looks like they're about to have a heart attack, yeah? One's 50 years of age, it's got, you know, not a 6-pack, but flat abs, looks great, strong, fit, healthy. On the weekend, they're running and doing weights and whatever. They're like an active person. Who's going to die first? It's simple, right? This person's going to die first. If you're paying this person a shit ton of money, which one are you going to invest in? Well, this one here, because they're going to last longer. Simple, right? Productivity will be higher for the person that is fit and healthy. Of course, if the, you know, I'm going to get so much heat for this, but, you know, if it's the same person, if there's 2 of me, one's really out of shape, terrible, one's in good shape. The person that's in good shape, right, is going to be able to be more productive. Of course, you've got different nuances in there, whether that person's driven, productive, whatever. But if an A and B is compared, the fitter, healthier person will have more energy. They will be able to be more productive. They're able to stay focused for longer. They're not going to die, most likely, very, very early on in that process. They're not going to be drawing on their key person's insurance because that person's passed away because they just eat crap and drink and smoke, etc. So it just becomes a more attractive person. Okay, so that's kind of like the example of recruitment, right? If we're looking at this company here, so this is company A, right? This is company A, okay. And this CEO here, yeah, they're 45 years of age. They drink 4 times a week. They don't really sleep very much. They travel a lot. They're not really home very much. When they're home, they're exhausted and they can't really play with their kids because kid wants to come play football at 6 o'clock at night because he hasn't seen his dad for a couple of days. And they can't do it, or the granddad, depends how old you are, and they haven't got the energy for it. And what they do is have a glass of red wine to unwind, de-stress, fall asleep on the sofa, wake up at 6, wash the face, cup of coffee, straight out the door again. They're on this cycle of poor health, right? They're eating, they're drinking coffee because they're exhausted, they're not sleeping, they're stressed, but don't think they're stressed. They say they're not stressed, but they are stressed to the eyeballs. And the way they deal with that is to drink wine. They don't understand that actually moving their body, eating well, drinking water, sleeping, and, you know, maybe some deep breathing as well, is going to have a huge positive impact on the area. This is person A, right? This is this CEO, okay? So you imagine what they're like in the ballroom, right? They're a powerhouse. This is a person who's got to the top of the tree. However, their energy is like this. Their focus is all over the place, right? Their mood is low. Let's just quickly write this down, actually. So let's put this over here. Hopefully you can see it on the screen. Cool. So this person here, we're now going to talk about this person here, right? So they've got low energy. They're always tired, okay? Then their motivation is low. Okay, they're driven towards business. They're driven towards money, finance and regulation, what stuff they need to be doing. But they're not at the top of their motivation, right? They get poor moods. They're in a bad mood sometimes because they're hungover and they're tired and they're caffeinated and they just feel like shit, yeah? Poor mood, okay? They're also in pain. They're in pain. They get neck pain, back pain, their body feels inflamed, their hips, their back, their knees, right? They're always in pain, which then pushes onto the bad moods, the low energy, the bad motivation. projecting that onto people, okay? Now all of this stuff here then goes into low focus. I don't care what you say, I don't care who you are, unless you're a robot, which is obviously coming at some point, but at the moment we're all still humans. Your focus will not be good if you haven't slept properly for months, if you drink alcohol all the time, if you drink coffee because you're exhausted, if you eat shit, if you maybe smoke as well. That is going to give you bad focus. I don't care what you say. You're not going to be able to focus as well as someone that is rested, fit, healthy, strong, lean, resilient. It's not possible. Don't care what you say, okay? And then driven. Your drive will go down. Your drive to be better, your drive to perform. So generally speaking, what I'm trying to kind of allude to is that this CEO here, okay, CEO A, who maybe is a person watching this video, maybe somebody that you work for, maybe somebody that you know, all of this stuff here, okay, is making them into a person that potentially won't be able to drive their company to the level that somebody would do at the same age, same kind of person, that's fit, strong, focused, healthy, eating well, sleeping well, not drinking so much, not drinking as much, not drinking as much caffeine, working out. Can you see where I'm going with this, right? Yeah, this person here is not going to be as productive. They're just not. It's not possible. Okay. So this is kind of the impact that this has on this individual. Okay. Now, what do you think happens when level 1, 2, and 3 look at their CEO coming in the morning and they are tired, they're sweating, they're moody, they're miserable, they look like they haven't slept for a month? Do you think that inspires the team? Or does that make the team think, oh God, what mood's he in today? You know, I hope we had a sleep last night. I'm going to get in the neck today. I'm a bit late on that report. How's he going to deal with that? Yeah? How's he going to deal with the fact that the client's just left? We haven't told him yet. So you see how that makes, you know, this level here, right? This executive level. They might have that Monday morning meeting. The CFO, the CMO, the CTO, the CIO, whoever's in that meeting, okay? And they've got to deal with this guy. They've got to tell him that stuff has not gone well. We've lost a client, you know? We had a bad deal go wrong, whatever it may be. They've got to deal with this person that is stressed, hungover, out of shape, bad mood, got no focus, low energy. How do you think that makes them feel? Yeah? Does that inspire them? Or does it make them kind of sit back in their shell a little bit and think, I've got to deal with this guy today? Okay. So that's kind of like the immediate day-to-day impact that has, right? And then of course, once these guys have spent 2 hours in the boardroom, you know, getting a bollocking because things have not gone right and this guy can't handle it because he's exhausted, yeah? What happens then? This person gives it down to level 2. Why have we not hit sales targets? Why did Mary not turn up yesterday? What's happened to Colin? Why is Jamie off of his numbers? Yeah? It then goes down. Why is marketing not doing what it should be doing? Why is social media not working? Why is our ad spend up and our results are down? Yeah? This person here, this level of management, is now getting in the neck from their executive team. And then what happens? There we go. Colin, Mary, John, Stephen, Adam, Gail. What's going on? Why are things dropping off? Why are sales dropped off? Why is marketing dropped off? Yeah? But it's done in a way that has come from the top down. That's how businesses work, okay? People look at the CEO, as much as people don't want to think about this, look at the CEO, they're the boss, they're the captain, he or she is the captain of the ship. And if he or she is in a bad place, it's going to reflect within the business, okay? So then what happens is, then what can happen, of course this is not like an absolute finite kind of thing. There are companies that maybe are getting away with this, but the fact of the matter is you're probably not going to get away with it forever. So then what happens is, we then get opportunity cost. Opportunity. There you go. At university was worth it, wasn't it? Opportunity cost. Okay? Suddenly the executives are not feeling good. They're feeling off the ball. They're not inspired by their CEO. Why should they stay fit? Why should they stay healthy if the CEO's not doing it? The captain of the ship's not doing it. Yeah? And suddenly they're off the ball. They're at 80%, 70%. Okay? And it goes down to the next level, management. Oh God, had it in the neck from the CTO about this new software we've built and it's just not up to scratch. It's all problems with it. Yeah? Oh, I feel demotivated. They're working at 70% and so on and so forth. That will have an opportunity cost. You will miss opportunities as a business because you're not on the ball. Yeah? We all know, right? People look at me and think I'm just a personal trainer. I'm a business owner like you guys, right? I get business. I understand how it works, okay? We're always improving, always trying to get better at it, like we all are. But I understand opportunity cost. You and I both know, person watching this video, every day, every week, there's opportunity that comes in front of your eyes like that, okay? If you don't grab it and you miss it, it's gone. And your competitor's gonna take it. And we all know that's how it works, right? If you're not on the ball, if your executive team's not on the ball, if your management team's not on the ball, if your workforce is not on the ball, because you, the CEO, are not taking responsibility for your own personal health, fitness, focus, energy, resilience, health, it will have an opportunity cost. And what happens when you miss opportunities? You lose money. You lose potential clients. Yeah? That's what happens. Okay? Then what also happens is there's a cost to your culture, your business culture. Now, culture is a very deep subject. I'm not going to sit here or stand here and pretend I know the absolute ins and outs of it. I don't, but I have a good understanding from people that are very much in that space, and I read a lot of stuff about it because I have a company and I have people work for me, and I want to, kind of foster a good culture. And if the culture is, low energy, feeling demotivated, looking at your CEO, waiting for that kind of inspiration and thinking, well, he's not looking after himself, she's not looking after herself, why should I? That will have a negative impact on culture. And I see lots and lots of CEOs, on LinkedIn especially, talking about culture a lot, okay? But they're working on culture all the time. But the one thing they haven't done, maybe this is something they want to be doing in the future, they are not looking after themselves. They are not looking after their health. And again, that filters down. Doesn't matter how much talk about culture, yeah? If you want to have a team of Spartans that are ready to go to war for you and are never sick and are powerful and are resilient and are never ill and are always driven and want to follow you, through the fires to get to that result that you really, really want, yeah, starts with you. That culture, yeah, starts with the person at the top. It has to, yeah? So again, you are a reflection of your company. When people look at the brand, look at you, of course it depends on the company, I get that. They look at you and they think, well, what does that person look like? What are they doing? Are they taking ownership over their own health and fitness? They look good. Yeah, we've all seen those CEOs look incredible, right? And we think, wow, what a great, what an incredible person. Gary Vee, for example, watched quite a lot of his stuff. I mean, he wasn't in great shape maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Has now taken on himself to get in great shape. I think all of his content, all of his, the stuff that he puts out, I can't comment on his business, but it looks better. It looks like he's gone up to a whole new level because he's looking after himself. And we get it, it's simple, we all get it, right? And then of course this culture can have an impact on morale. Team morale is not great because you aren't looking after yourself. And that's starting to filter down into the business. Bad culture, bad morale, okay? Something as simple as, if you've got an unfit CEO and they've got a beer, wine, and they've, on a Thursday, Friday, it's like a thing they do, and, everyone likes it because they all like to have a beer, and the CEO's drinking a beer, so it's all cool. Having donuts on the desks at 11 every day, having sugary latte coffees every day, having pizza brought in on a Wednesday. This is all cultural stuff. This is stuff that the CEO probably, signed off at some level, whether that's the head of people that's made it. The CEO signed it off. And that's because they're like, oh yeah, cool, pizza, beer, wine, fantastic donuts. But that will have an impact on your team. They're going to want to fall asleep. They're going to have low energy. It's making them feel that's cool to have that food, to have that drink all the time. I'm not saying anything wrong with it, but it's just it's the whole internal culture, is driven by the CEO. And if the culture is beer, wine, pizza, all this crap, it's not good. It's not good. Why not have, someone come in and do everybody a healthy smoothie? or come in and do people some kind of healthy snack bar. Yeah, it's only going to drive productivity. It's only going to help people, align with being healthier. It's only going to probably drive people to the gym because actual business is doing it. I could tell you 5 people top of my head that I know that their culture within their company, because it's based around health and fitness, has driven people within the lower levels of the company to lose weight and get healthy. It works. I see it all the time. Okay. So again, people don't understand the link between energy, morale, confidence, focus, and food. It's literally intermingled. It's interlinked. People don't understand this. Okay. If you're giving your staff donuts at 12 o'clock on a Thursday, and you expect them to go into a sales pitch at 1 o'clock, you lose. You lose. That person is not going to be at full capacity. They're just not. I'm telling you now, 100%. That sales pitch will not be as good as if the person had something that was full of protein, full of fat, and was a much healthier option. They just won't. They're not going to be at 100%. Maybe they're 90% or 85%. They want to fall asleep and not do a really important sales pitch. Okay. And then of course, we go down again. We have a reduction in output. So a reduction in productivity across the teams. Yeah, because morale is low, they're eating donuts, they're not feeling good, they're looking at the CEO, they're not feeling inspired. The company culture's a bit all over the place because the CEO's coming in and everyone can see him, he's moody and miserable, and he can't walk upstairs, or she can't walk upstairs without sweating, and they're missing leads, and opportunity cost is kind of costing, money, all right? And then of course we start to go into, this is where it really starts to kick in, right? This is where the real magic happens. And this is the stuff where CEOs watch this and either go, Cam's chatting a load of old nonsense, which is highly plausible. And I'm guessing CEOs tell me I'm chatting nonsense all the time. And eventually come around to my way of thinking and they see the benefit of it. But anyway, that's up to you guys. And then on to creativity. Okay. Creativity. Yeah, that magical thing that we all want within our business is creative thinking. Okay. Again, if your staff are eating donuts, they're not fit, not healthy, they're overweight, they're not sleeping properly, looking at the CEO because they're out of shape, they feel like the culture's all over the place, they're getting told off by their managers because the culture's bad and everyone's tired and exhausted because the CEO comes in, when he comes in he's miserable and tired and sweating and moody, right? Creativity will be affected. People in a stressed out position, they're sitting like this and not feeling good and they're overweight, not feeling they can be creative and open and speak their mind because they're dealing with an executive team, a CEO, that is in a bad mood and doesn't feel good. Their creativity will be stunted. And here's the magical one. I'll get a lot of heat for, and I don't really care because I'm going to say it anyway. Reduction in profits. Okay? If you compare company A and company B, they do exactly the same thing, exactly the same people within that company, but the CEO in this company is out of shape, 50 years of age, drinks all the time, is hardly in the office. When they're working hard for a couple of hours, then they nip out for lunches and big meals. They travel a lot, don't sleep, they're out of shape, they're miserable, they're moody, got low energy. And you've got compared to company number 2, and the CEO is a machine, works out, really focuses on sleep, really focuses on hydration, focuses on having a couple of coffees, not 5 coffees. Drinks, but drinks the right types of things at the right times in social events, not just to de-stress. They work out 3-4 times a week. They're eating good food, high protein, green vegetables, high fat. Those companies, this one, will not make as much money as this one. This is for the Spartans. This is for the people that are ready to smash the day again and again and again and again. Okay, this one, not so much. Yeah, and again, it comes back to those fine margins. I'm not telling you, and I know you're not going to take this at face value, right? This company might be doing 20 million quid or 30 million quid or 100 million quid, whatever. Okay, but you have to understand that 3, 4, 5% difference between these companies could literally be, this is as simple as this, because the CEO is not looking after themselves, they're not staying healthy, and that is having a negative impact on the culture, on the focus, on the energy, on the productivity, on the creativity of this company. Simples. So I'll just summarise. If you're a CEO watching this, 40 plus, running a company, and you aren't looking at executive health and fitness for yourself and for your executive team, food for thought. Cheers, guys.